All right. Thank you for reaching out about a follow up to some of your questions from our last bond presentation. And thank you for allowing me to record again today for my classes. So tell me, what questions did you have about the bond?
Well, I was thinking the other day, it seems like we just had a bond up for vote very recently. When was the last bond?
So the last bond was in 2021. The district typically goes in 5-year cycles. So 2016, 2021, and then it was just this past summer that the 2021 bond that was approved by voters, all bonds actually since the mid 50s have been approved by Richardson ISD residents. But that in that 5-year cycle, the 2021 bond projects were just completed this past summer. So we've got lots of updates that have been done, mostly in terms of like facility upkeep, because we do have a lot of aging buildings in Richardson. So that's a great question. So 2021, every 5 years or so is when Richardson ISD typically will put forward a request for a new bond.
Okay. One of my questions, I was just thinking, why is the district asking for all of this money when there was just so many recent school closures?
That's a great question. I know that the consolidation of campuses was definitely an emotional hot topic for a lot of people. And one of the things that the district has done is really keep in mind that the campuses themselves are part of the DNA of Richardson ISD. And so the schools are not functioning as elementary campuses anymore, but they are functioning in other ways. So the district has transitioned those campuses into other uses. For example, the Adobe Pre-K campus has joined forces with the city of Dallas and is now a community center. So there's like health providers, social work providers. They have classes for the community and for kids, but it's that partnership with the city for that campus. So it's still there. It's still part of the community, just functioning in a different way. Then for our Greenwood Hills campus, they've transitioned that into a hub for student activities. So the BizTown, which is a partnership with Junior Achievement, gives our late elementary, 5th and 6th graders the opportunity to go and feel what it's like for a day to have a particular job. It's set up as a small town. A lot of people in Richardson are familiar with Enterprise City. And so this is that form for the new and improved version of Enterprise City. The BizTown is something that kids really look forward to. There's a mayor, there's bankers, there's restaurants and a newspaper. Of course, there's digital versions of the newspaper because that's what kids are more familiar with. But they have that housed at the Greenwood Hills campus. The other piece that's housed at Greenwood Hills is a program called To Be Like Me. And it is a program where our elementary students get to go in and have kind of like a simulation type of experience of what it's like to have different disabilities. So what is it like when you can't see or when your hearing is diminished? What does that feel like? And it gives them a point of view that they wouldn't necessarily be exposed to otherwise. Our 4th graders typically come away with that with a pretty eye-opening experience as well. So those are just some examples, but each of our campuses, like Spring Valley is a hub for all of our curriculum and instruction directors and coordinators. So any of our professional learning that happens at Spring Valley. Each of those campuses that were consolidated do still function in the community and in the district, just in a different way now.
Okay.
So the funding that is being asked for this bond is not necessarily related to those, but it is a valid question. I get it. Yeah.
Okay. And then just like speaking more of the funding, why is it all going, like, why are so many of the funding just going towards athletics?
Yeah. So there's some of the bond money that we legally have to separate out to do different propositions specific to the athletics in like the Wildcat Ram Stadium and the Eagle Mustang Stadium. Both of those are getting updates, but those had to be separated out into different propositions. So what I'd like to do, if you don't mind, I'm going to pull up the website real quick.
Okay.
Take a look here.
Okay.
And on the website, it's very thorough where it has each of the 3 bond propositions and breaks down what those look like. So you're asking specifically about the athletics piece. You can see here in Proposition C, those stadium upgrades, the lighting upgrades, and the turf upgrades are all in Proposition C. And that 7.4 million of the total 1.4 billion cost. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this video if you want to take a look at what that specifically would encompass.
District voters will have the opportunity to vote on a $1.4 billion bond package proposed by the Richardson ISD Board of Trustees. Bond 2025 is divided into 3 propositions on the ballot. Let's take a closer look at Proposition C, which totals $7.4 million and focuses on upgrades to Richardson ISD's 2 largest stadiums. The Wildcat Ram Stadium at Lake Highlands, shared with Bertner, and the Eagle Mustang Stadium at Richardson High School, shared with J.J. Pierce, would both receive updates. This proposition does not propose building new stadiums, only upgrading these 2 existing ones. By law, due to their occupancy levels, these stadium projects must be presented as a separate proposition. Planned projects include Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, seating upgrades. Additional projects include cost-effective LED lighting and turf replacement. The turf at both facilities was last replaced with funding from the 2016 bond and is nearing the end of its lifespan. Early voting runs October 20th through 31st. Election Day is Tuesday, November 4th. To see details on all 3 propositions and a full list of campus projects, visit risd.org/bond2025.
So that kind of goes back to your earlier question about, didn't we just have a bond? She mentions in this video that the 2016 bond covered the turf for our 2 biggest stadiums. And turf does have about a 10-year life cycle. Something that I've learned in this bond preparing process is that the turf and the upkeep of the turf is actually less expensive than a grass turf. So the cost of having the 10-year cycles to make sure that our turf is new and safe for all of our student athletes is actually less in the long run than it is to upkeep just a grass turf. So there's that piece of it. But I do want to go back to some of the other pieces of the propositions, because that's our major ones due to the extent, the capacity of those stadiums. But there is a little bit other in the Proposition A, where this one covers a lot of things. It's our largest one. It's our largest one mostly due to the middle school transformation process and the construction costs involved with that. But there's also some other pieces, including a little bit of athletics as well. So I'm going to, if you don't mind, take a look at this video too.
On November 4th, registered voters will have the opportunity to vote on a $1.4 billion bond package proposed by the Richardson ISD Board of Trustees. Bond 2025 is divided into 3 propositions on the ballot. Let's take a closer look into Proposition A, which includes construction and renovations, infrastructure and safety, and teaching and student support. Proposition A covers all district departments and is the largest portion of the bond, totaling $1,338,600,000. Planned projects would complete the RISD Middle School Transformation Initiative for the 6 junior high campuses that were not part of Bond 2021 capital projects: Apollo, Liberty, North, Park Hill, West, and Westwood. In 2020, following an extensive study and community input, RISD adopted the middle school instructional model. This transition moves 6th grade from elementary into junior high campuses, creating middle schools that serve grades 6 through 8. This aligns RISD with more than 95% of Texas districts. Considerations included academic performance, curriculum alignment, extracurricular opportunities, and student wellness. More information is available on the district website. Proposition A also includes the planned construction of a new Career and Technical Education, or CTE, Center, Serving students from all 4 high schools, this facility would expand access to specialized, hands-on programs that strive to prepare students for high-demand careers with options to earn industry certifications. Another Proposition A project is the renovation of the Environmental Studies Center. For 50 years, RASD students have visited the center to study local plants and wildlife and engage in outdoor learning. The facility has not undergone significant updates since it opened, and nearby development has shifted the building further into the floodplain. Planned improvements include modernized facilities, improved accessibilities, and expanded capacity for student learning. Additional campus renovations district-wide would include foundation repair, flooring, windows, and playgrounds. Infrastructure and safety planned projects would cover health services improvements, energy efficiency, plumbing, HVAC, roofing, safety systems, buses, and equipment for maintenance, classrooms, and cafeterias. Teaching and student support items include instructional materials, CTE equipment, fine arts instruments, athletic equipment, and uniforms. These capital items, by definition, have a useful life of more than 1 year. Projects in Propositions A, B, and C would impact every RISD school. For details on planned projects at each campus, visit risd.org/bond2025. Early voting is October 20th through October 30th.
So you could see in that there are some athletics pieces that are in Prop A, the uniforms, some of the updated equipment, but the great majority of that particular proposition is that transformation process for the middle school. So when you look at the A, B, and C propositions, they do really a good job on the website. If there's any additional questions that come up and that you think of down the road, that if you want to go take a look, there's also a little video for Proposition B. If there's any questions about that, I won't make you sit here and watch that with me though, unless you really want to. Are there any other questions though?
I don't think so. I think I understand
more clarity
a lot better
for me.
now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So yeah, I do want to encourage you to vote no matter what direction that is, especially knowing that the district has done a really great job of separating out those different propositions. So if there's something you feel really strongly for, or not necessarily, then you're able to vote for each of those individually. All right. Thank you so much for reaching out.
Thank you. Thank you.